Now, if you love cheesecake, and let's face it, that's why you're here, and you absolutely adore salted caramel, well, you're going to love this salted caramel cheesecake. Now, stick with me to the end because this is a real special no-bake cheesecake, and it's part of the series of the best no-bake cheesecakes in the world. We're going to be doing some extra little steps, but it's going to make it perfect. So let's get on and start by making our caramel. On our stove, we've got 1 cup of sugar. I'm using caster, but you could use any sugar. You could even use brown sugar. I've got half a cup of water in with that, and we're just going to heat this gently until the sugars start to completely dissolve. Now, when you're making caramel, there is no need to stir it. It may just crystallize the caramel, so just let it simmer away and watch for the sugars to dissolve, and then look for those caramel colors to appear. Now, I don't know if you can see there, but the caramel is starting to color up and a beautiful smell is coming off here. Now, I'm going to turn the heat off now, and then I'm just going to take about a tablespoon of butter and I'm going to drop it into my caramel, which is going to cool the caramel down a little bit. And we have this lovely, smooth, silky caramel sauce. Now, depending on the size of your cheesecake, I've made a circle on a piece of baking paper, on the underside, by the way, and I'm just going to drizzle the caramel in any pattern you like. You can do a little lattice work. Now, we're going to make 3 of these discs, but whilst it's still hot, I'm going to sprinkle a little salt on it. Now, I'm using pink Himalayan salt. So I've made 2 lattice pieces of caramel, and the last bit of caramel I'm just going to pour onto the surface. Again, I've got a circle roughly, but I'm not probably going to use a circle for this one. We're just going to spread this caramel out, and then we're just going to sprinkle some salt over the top of it again. And so you end up with 3 discs of beautiful salted caramel. And they're going to firm up pretty quickly, so you'll be able to peel them off fairly easy. But for the time being, just set those aside. Now, for the cookie base, I'm making my own again because it tasted so good. And not everybody can get graham crackers or digestive biscuits, and it's so simple. I'm just going to melt my butter this time, 125 grams, about 4 ounces. I'm using salted butter. I think it'll add to the flavor. Into that, we're going to add a cup of all-purpose flour and 1 cup of oat bran. Now, oat bran is just basically oatmeal that's been finely ground up. And 3/4 of a cup of icing sugar. You can use any sugar you like. And what we're effectively doing is just cooking this cookie mixture off in our stovetop. And you're just going to keep mixing it until it becomes like broken cookies. It will take about 5 or 10 minutes. Now, you see I've got this lovely fine crumb like this, looks like a bread crumb. We're just going to keep toasting this off until we get a lovely caramel color. Now look at that, after just 5 or 10 minutes you have what looks like perfect cookie crumbs. And if you want to miss this step and just crumble up some crackers, feel free. Now, we still need to bind this together as you would do with any cookies, so I've got 100 grams, that's about 3.5 ounces of butter again. Just pop that into there, and what you're going to end up with is something that looks a little bit like wet sand. Then I'm just going to pour this into an 8-inch springform pan, which I've lined with a little bit of baking paper. And then using something flat, we're just going to compact this down. I'm using the end of a glass. And when you've got this nice and level, pop it in the fridge just to firm up. Now let's get on and make the cheesecake topping. Now, I know a lot of you will have mixers at home. Don't do what I'm going to have to do here, use a little spoon. It works, but it's a bit slow. Down here we've got 2 blocks of cheese, they're 9 ounce, about 250 grams. And I'm going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar. And then using your mixer, in my case a spoon, we're just going to cream this together into our sweet cream cheese. I'm just going to put some lemon zest. I've got a whole lemon here, and I'm just going to grind the zest off. Now, this is optional, but for me, this adds such good flavor to a cheesecake. And then we're just going to take the juice from half a lemon. So I'm just going to take that lemon and just squeeze the juice in there. About a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And then I just want to mix that through first. I just clean down the side of the bowl. Now, I've taken 3/4 of a cup, about 180 mils of thick cream, and I've just whipped it up. And then we're just going to mix this together until it's lovely and smooth. And you're going to have this lovely, delicious, and super tasty cheesecake mix. Now, just take about 1/3 of our mix, pop it in on top of the cheesecake base, which is set up now. I'm going to use a little spatula, and I'm going to spoon this across nice and level. Now, remember our caramel slices. I just want you to lift that off there. This doesn't have to be too flat. We're just going to pop this caramel in on top of there, little salted caramel, level it down. How good does that look? Now we're going to spoil it. We're going to pop another third of our cheesecake mixture on top, and again just spread this over the top. So you see what we're going to have all through the center of this cheesecake. We're going to have this lovely salted caramel. So we've got that on there now. We're going to take our other little piece, and I think this one is just going to be a little bit too big, so I'll just break that off of there. And chef's perks. Oh, that's good. Another piece I've got to break off. Oh dear. Take the last of our cheesecake mixture, and then we want to just push this down fairly level. Then we pop this in the fridge for about an hour to firm up. Now, a couple of tiny little things we want to do to make this super special whilst our cheesecake sets. We're going to make a lovely caramel sauce. So exactly the same as before. This time I've got half a cup of sugar and quarter of a cup of water, just bringing it up until I've got a lovely caramel. As the caramel starts to colour like that, we're just going to turn the heat off. And this time, rather than butter, we're just going to take quarter of a cup of thick cream, pour that in there, listen to it sizzle. And we're going to have this beautiful caramel pouring sauce, which will thicken up as it cools down. Now we'll take our cheesecake out of the fridge. Hopefully it's set up enough for us. And I'm just going to release the side. Now remember, the caramel inside this may well have gone soft by now because it's been soaked in all that cheesecake. So let's just release this now, lift it off, and hopefully that looks beautiful. Now look at that. See the way the caramel has started to liquefy? It's gone back into a soft caramel. Now remember a series or so back I made salted caramel popcorn? Well, you can get across and check that video out and make it yourself, or you can do what I've done here in Malaysia, just gone out and bought some caramel popcorn. And what I want to do is just lay the popcorn around the outside. Next, you know that other piece of salted caramel that we made? We're just going to take it, cover it over with a little bit of paper. So I'm just going to take the back of my knife and just tap it. And what I'm looking to do is get nice little grains of salted caramel. I might keep a few little big bits for decorating. So we got our popcorn around the outside. I'm just going to take a little bit of this caramel as well, this salted caramel, just pop it in the middle. There is my salted caramel cheesecake, and look, all the actual caramel is starting to ooze out the side. We want to serve this fairly quickly and get it eaten because we don't want the caramel on top to go too soft. So I'll find a space there to get my knife in between the popcorn. Oh, can you hear that crunching through? A nice big slice. Now listen to this. Oh, can you hear that? Can you hear the crunching of the caramel? Oh. See if I can get my knife in there. We're just going to lift that up. Can you see how gorgeous that is? But we're not going to stop there because you know that beautiful caramel sauce we made? Well, I'm going to take that and I'm just going to drizzle it over the top of the cheesecake. Just before you serve it, come in here because I know you want me to try it. I know I want to try it. Oh, look at that. How good is that going to taste? That is super tasty, absolutely delicious. This is one of those cheesecakes you could actually freeze and serve straight from the freezer. It would be like an ice cream cheesecake. If you give this one a try, let me know what you think about it. These are a series of the world's best no-bake cheesecakes, so I'd love to hear your comments down below. Share the love, give this one a thumbs up, let me get on and eat some. I'll see you next time. Now I'm really enjoying this cheesecake. I'm going to leave a link up here to the cheesecake series that we've got going on the channel and a link to some other videos. Always love to hear your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Be good. See you shortly.